MTWS fans, we are live in Camping World Stadium for the first time, of course, since we are here live on November 5th, 2023, over 2 years ago, as we are back for MTWS action, as we were last out in San Antonio last month, and we are here for the 2025 MTWS All-Star Challenge. And of course, remember last year in Nashville, we had that wild first ever All-Star Challenge, and it was a massive success with Team Impala versus Team Thunderbolt, and Team Impala won in a sweep. We'll see what happens this year, as it's going to be Team Crazy Bull versus Team Outlaw. The arch rivals. Up there is one of the original rivalries in MTWS, along with, of course, Impala and Thunderbolt, of course, as it's going to be the same format as last year. 3 winners, the number 1 qualifier, a racing winner, and a freestyle winner. And whoever wins 2 of the 3 events, that team will win overall. And remember last year, like I said, Team Impala earlier, swept last year, sweeping Team Thunderbolt. We'll see what happens this time around, as we're getting ready to go for the event in just a moment. As, of course, the track is all ready to go. We see it's going to be the debut of S-Style Racing in MTWS that was used in World Finals 23. It was a tough track. It was a tough track for the trucks to test on and all that. We'll see how they do tonight in qualifiers. We're getting ready to go for racing. And who knows? This event might be on the same day, on like 2 days separate, like last year's event was, depending on my schedule of work and such. Alright. So, of course, we're getting ready to go for qualifying, as they'll start off with Shadowrun going up against Flying Falcon. Then Shatter versus Crazy Bull. Yep, Shatter and Crazy Bull, our defending champions, are going to go after each other in the second race. That's going to be insane. Then it'll be Outrage versus Mad Dog, the Monster Razor versus Bone Crusher, War Machine versus Total Chaos, Ling versus Eruption, and then Outlaw versus Impala. Oh, that's going to be a huge matchup right there. Then it'll be another big matchup, as it's Nitro going up against Thunderbolt. Oh wow, swap those last 2 matches again. We got 2 arch rivals going at. Then it'll be Blood Rage versus High Flying, Fireball versus Destroyer. Then an old classic rivalry big matchup, Crush and Run versus Power Forward, another big matchup. Then it'll be Madness versus Locomotion. Then Crazy versus Venom. Then Polar Storm versus Topsy Turvy. Night Stalker versus Patriot. Ye Plunder versus Prowler. Reckless Intent versus Wild Ride. Crusher versus Crasher. Predator versus Damage Control. Then wrap it up with Daisy Chain versus Stinger. Remember, Stinger won the last 2 racing events here in 2022 and 2023, so it's got to be a racing threat potentially here tonight, so we got to keep an eye on that. Alright, so we're getting ready to go for qualifying, as it's going to start off with Shadowrun versus Flying Falcon. Shadowrun, of course, is on Team Outlaw, and Flying Falcon is on Team Crazy Bull, so different team matchups to start off with. And here we go! Shadowrun versus Flying Falcon on this S-Style Racing. Some big air for both trucks, and nice turn air by Flying Falcon. Here we go, up and over that jump. Oh, off the side right there for Flying Falcon. That's a little bit of trouble. It's going to go wide. Shadowrun might have to lead a little bit, but going to go into the other lane right there. Terrible down there for Shadowrun. And in the end, I'm not sure who got that in the end. That was not a good race that either of them had right there. They both struggled. All right, we now wait for the times, as we are looking for them. Shadowrun and Flying Falcon. Well, we found Flying Falcon. Oh, here we go. Shadowrun won the race barely, as Shadowrun got 18.7387, and Flying Falcon got 19.1516. So right now, Shadowrun is the leader, representing Team Outlaw. And like I said, if whoever wins this, all they need to do is win racing, and they got the series clinched already. Alright, now for our next matchup. And this is a huge one. Shatter versus Crazy Bull. The defending the 2-time racing champion, Crazy Bull, back-to-back years, remember, in its first ever event since it won the racing championship, going up against Shatter, who also is in its first event since it won the freestyle title back in February. Oh boy, this is going to be a big matchup. As Shatter, of course, Team Outlaw and Crazy Bull obviously represent Team Crazy Bull. And here we go! Huge matchup, our defending champions going at it. Up and over that jump. As great turn there by Crazy Bull. Here we go for that turn right there. As going for the final turn. Shatter on two wheels a little bit. Here we go for the final jump. And it's going to be Shatter with the victory. Oh, on two wheels aside right there at the end. On two wheels a little bit. What a great turn there by Shatter, as it's going to get the win. But now we wait on the times, as here they go. It's an 18.0665 for Shatter. Crazy Bull got 18.3329. Top two times right now, but Shatter's the leader and Team Outlaw is still leading. What a great race that was. Alright, now up is Outrage versus Mad Dog. Outrage is Team Outlaw, and Mad Dog, of course, is in Team Crazy Bull, so another team matchup. Alright, here we go! Outrage and Mad Dog! Both represent new bodies this year, and Mad Dog had a little bit of a trouble going down that jump, but had a great turn. But we saw he had a little bit of a struggle going down that ramp. What a turn by Mad Dog! Outrage had a great turn too, but it's going to be Mad Dog with the victory. Careful there, Outrage hit the side of the hill right there. Alright, so Mad Dog's going to get the victory. So we got the times now. Mad Dog got 17.9954. That's the first time tonight someone got under 18 seconds, as it's the new leader. As Outrage got an 18.35, almost beating Crazy Bull. So Mad Dog's our new leader, and for the first time, Team Crazy Bull now leads the #1 qualifier. Alright, so Team Crazy Bull's in the lead. Next up, the Monster Razor versus Bone Crusher. The Monster Razor is in Team Outlaw, and Bone Crusher's Team Crazy Bull. Another matchup here. Oh, that's right, I forgot to mention. I just remembered. All the qualifying matchups are our team matchups, so it's going to be a Team Crazy Bull, Team Outlaw matchup. I forgot about that. So there we go. I don't need to look that up again. Here we go now. The Monster Razor versus Bone Crusher. Up and over that jump, some big air. Bone Crusher got some really big air off that jump. Here we go. Good turn there by Bone Crusher. Oh, it's going very wide. It's going to be a little bit of a problem as the Monster Razor going to take over right there. Oh, going to go a little bit off the side right there into the jumps. On two wheels, going to save it, but it's still one in the end. All right, so now we leave for times. The Monster Razor got an 18.4513, not very good. Bone Crusher got 19.0172, which is second to last right now, only behind Flying Falcon. Yikes, neither of them had a really good time. All right, next up is War Machine versus Total Chaos. And they're off! As up and over the jump with some big air for both of them. As Total Chaos, alright turn there. War Machine went very wide. Oh, bad land right there for War Machine. Total Chaos went a little bit really wide, but yeah, War Machine's in trouble. And it is going to be, oh, it was a close race right there in the end. But I think Total Chaos might have gotten it still. As we now wait on the time. And yes, Total Chaos did win it. Total Chaos got an 18.7098. War Machine got an 18.8251, so they were very close with each other. But Total Chaos is going to get the victory. Alright, now up is a big matchup actually. As it's going to be Bling versus Eruption. And here we go, Bling and Eruption now going at it. Look at the air they got there. Bling has a wheelie coming down the drop. Oh, Eruption hit the hill right there. That could be trouble. Eruption hit that hill. And still looking good right there. Bling right there too. What a pass there for both. And Bling's going to get the victory. And almost big. Oh, careful, Eruption. Almost went into the wall right there. What a pass by Bling. And now the times are in. Bling got a 17.7618. It's our new #1 qualifier, Bling. As Eruption got an 18.3604. Bling's our new #1 qualifier. And with that, Team Outlaw retakes the #1 spot in qualifying. So Team Outlaw is on track right now for the first win of the night. Alright, now for our big matchup. Outlaw versus Impala. The Team Impala captain last year who swept this year, going against Team Outlaw's captain, Outlaw and such. What a race this will be. As here we go, Outlaw and Impala. Up and look at the air they got. They gotta be careful. You can't get that much air because it causes trouble coming down. Oh my goodness, what a turn there by Impala. Oh, Outlaw a little bit wide right there. Oh boy, here we go to the final turn. Oh my goodness, what a turn there Outlaw had. And here we go for final jump, and it's going to be Outlaw just barely edging out. Outlaw's going to get the victory. Alright, now we wait for the times. As Outlaw got a 17.8953, that is second place right now. As Impala got an 18.0923, so Outlaw, not the #1 qualifier, but Blink still leads as it's still representing Team Outlaw. So good for them. Now we got another big matchup coming up, as it's going to be Thunderbolt versus Nitro. The former freestyle champion and race champion in Nitro's case are about to go at it once again, as they are now ready to go. Here we go! Nitro and Thunderbolt, some huge air off that jump. Great turn there by Thunderbolt. As offside of that a little bit. Oh, careful there, Thunderbolt on 2 wheels. Remember, it was last place qualifier last year too. And Nitro's going to get the victory, but Thunderbolt actually looked like had a good pace there until that got on 2 wheels right there. Alright, now we wait for times. As Nitro got a 17.6765, our new #1 qualifier. As Thunderbolt got an 18.0938. Oh, just barely being edged out by Impala. Which is funny. Remember, they're teammates this year after being the team captains last year. That's wild. And Nitro, of course, represents Team Outlaw. So Team Outlaw with the swap spot with Bling, still #1 qualifier. Alright. So now up is Blood Rage versus High Flying. Remember, we saw Blood Rage last in the championship where it was the #1 qualifier, but couldn't get the job done in the end. We'll see what it does here. Here we go. Blood Rage and High Flying. Look at the air off that jump. And great turn there by High Flying. Blood Rage is struggling a little bit, looks like. But here we go in this final turn. Let's see how it does. Oh, High Flying going very wide right there. And Blood Rage is going to get the easy victory. That was not a good pass High Flying had at the end. That was terrible. Alright, now I'll take a look at the times. As still looking for them. Blood Rage got 17.9614. Not that very impressive, but still on the top up there. As High Flying got an 18.6338. So yeah, Blood Rage easily going to get the victory. And now for our next big matchup. Fireball versus Destroyer. And here we go. Fireball and Destroyer going at it. Look at the air. Destroyer got way too much aerial. Got a little bit of a wheelie at the end. Going very wide in that turn. Almost going to the other lane. Fireball has the lead. Now it does a turn here. Oh, Fireball trouble there. Nice save. Is going to get the victory going into Destroyer's lane. They crossed over to each other's lanes, honestly. Fireball got the victory, but that wasn't a good pass at the end. Alright, Fireball got a 17.998. Meanwhile, Destroyer got... and still trying to find Destroyer's time. An 18.9949. Wow, Destroyer really struggled right there. My goodness. Alright, but Fireball got the victory, but not enough to take the lead. Alright, and with that, we're now halfway through qualifying as Team Outlaws. Nitro has the lead right now with a 17.6567. We'll see how long it lasts as Bling is second place with a 17.7618. And then Outlaw's right after its third place. So Team Outlaw at the top pretty much with everything. Alright, our next matchup is a huge one. Crush and Run versus Power Forward. Two former racing champions going at it. Here we go. Crush and Run and Power Forward. Look at the air once again. Great turn by Power Forward. Going down that ramp. And it's getting close to the hill right there, but going really wide into the berm right there. Crush and Run, take it over, and Crush and Run is going to get the victory, but Power Forward wasn't that far behind. Power Forward wasn't far behind. Alright, now we wait for times, as Crush and Run got an 18.1157. Power Forward got an 18.2434. Wow, they were really close to each other, but not enough to take the lead. Alright, now up is Madness versus Locomotion. And here we go! Madness and Locomotion. Representing Thomas's 80th anniversary for Locomotion for this event. What a turn! Oh, never mind. That last bomb right there really hurt Locomotion. Look at the air Madness got there. My goodness. Locomotion, great turn there. But it's going to be Madness in the end. Madness is going to get the victory. Alright. So now we wait on the times. As Madness got a 17.8564. Wow! Madness is number 3 in qualifying. How about that? Locomotion got an 18.4507. Great pass by Madness, who, again, represents Team Outlaw. So, the top 4 qualifiers, actually, top 5, the top 5 fastest qualifiers are all Team Outlaw right now. So, Team Outlaw is really dominating right now in qualifying. Alright, so now we get ready for our next matchup. Crazy versus Venom. As they are getting ready to go in a moment. Alright, here we go. Crazy and Venom going at it. Ooh, a little hard land right there for Crazy. Great turn there by Venom. Hit the side of the hill a little bit for Venom. Oh my goodness, what a turn by Crazy. Slow down a little bit. But Crazy's going to get the victory. But man, what a turn Crazy had at the end. That was insane. Alright, now we wait for times. As it's a 17.8276 for Crazy. That's 3rd place right now. Crazy has the 3rd fastest qualifier. Can you believe it, people? Meanwhile, Venom got a 18.4353. Good job for Crazy, as once again, representing Team Outlaw. Team Outlaw has the top 6 fastest times right now. You can't be making this up. Team Outlaw is just dominating right now. Alright, next up is Polar Storm, going up against Topsy Turvy. And here we go. Up and over that jump. Nice smooth land for both. Let's see how Topsy Turvy handles the turn. Nice. Oh, Polar Storm hit the side of the berm right there, coming down. A bad spot, though. Really bad spot. And it is going to be Topsy Turvy with the victory right there in the end. As Polar Storm did not have a good pass. Alright, now we wait for times. Topsy Turvy got an 18.5618. As Polar Storm got a 19.1152. Alright. So that's going to wrap it up there. As we continue on with qualifying, and next up is Night Stalker going up against Patriot. Here we go. And once again, might have gotten a little bit. Oh, that was a bad wheelie there for Night Stalker. You don't want to get those wheelies. And it's going very wide right there. That was bad. As Patriot having a good turn right here. Let's see how it does right here in the turn. Oh, Night Stalker's on 2 wheels. They're going to go over. Our first flip of night. Oh, careful, Patriot. Oh, into the wall. And flipping it right there into the wall protection. Oh, my goodness. Both trucks flipped right there. My God. Both flipped right there. Wow. But, of course, Night Stalker's flips worse because it didn't even fill its time. So that's going to be a DNF. Meanwhile, Patriot, with its wild finish, got a 17.9553. So again, a very good time, but not enough, as that puts it like 6th place right now. As Patriot representing Team Crazy Bull. So Patriot has the best time so far for anyone in Team Crazy Bull. That's insane. Alright, now we get to our next matchup. Ye Plunderer going up against Prowler. We got to keep our eyes on Ye Plunderer because remember, Ye Plunderer dominated last year in racing, so now it's like a racing threat. I'm really curious to see how it's going to do here tonight. And here we go. Ye Plunderer and Prowler. Up and over that jump. Look at the air Prowler had. Oh my God, it almost cleared it. Oh, wheelie there for Ye Plunderer. It's not good. Prowler going into the other lane. That's not good. And trouble right there. Saved it. But going to go very wide right there. Oh, look at that turn by Ye Plunderer, as it is going to easily dominate for the victory. Oh my goodness. Just easy victory for Ye Plunderer. As we now wait on the time, as Ye Plunderer got 17.6274. Our new number 1 qualifier is Ye Plunderer. To no one's surprise anymore. If this was last year, early on, everyone would be stunned. As Prowler got 19.5493, which is the 2nd worst behind only Night Stalker's DNF. Ye Plunderer representing Team Outlaw. Once again, Team Outlaw is still at the top with 4 races left, 8 trucks left to go. Could hold on. Alright, next up is Reckless Intent going up against Wild Ride. And here we go. Up and over and jump. Look at the air they got again. My goodness. Reckless Intent got a wheelie right there. Great turn here by Wild Ride. Oh, and Reckless Intent is in big trouble hitting his stuff right there. That's not good. Terrible pass for it. But hanging in there. And actually might have beaten Wild Ride. I can't believe what I saw. It might have straight up beat Wild Ride. That's insane. As we now wait on the times. As, oh my goodness, Reckless Intent, despite screw up, did beat Wild Ride. Oh my goodness. Reckless Intent got an 18.4409. Wild Ride got an 18.5601. So Wild Ride had a terrible time in qualifying. Wow, Wild Ride really struggled. My goodness. Alright. Next up is Crusher versus Crasher. And they are off. Crusher and Crasher. Look at the air once again. Got a wheelie there for Crusher. Crasher had a great turn. Oh, careful there, Crusher. Bad landing. Crasher hit the hill right there. Spinning out, too, as Crusher is going to get the easy victory. Oh, my God. Crasher is all over the place. Watch out for the wall right here coming up. Almost got close to the wall right there at the end. As Crusher is going to get the victory as we wait for times. As Crusher got an 18.458, Crasher is going to get a 20.6694, which is the second worst time behind only Night Stalker's BNF. Alright, now up. We're down to our final 2 matchups. Next up is Predator versus Damage Control. And here we go! Predator and Damage Control. Up and over that big jump right there. Great turn by Damage Control. Predator, a little bit of trouble right there. Going to go hit the side of the hill. Oh, bad spot right there. Damage Control went very wide, too. Damage Control, a little bit of trouble. And, oh, my goodness. Oh, Predator's in trouble. On 2 wheels. Flipping it over. Oh, still flipping and going to go over right there. Another flip here in qualifying. Wow. Couldn't save it there for Predator. What a wild flip that was. As Damage Control still got the win in the end. Damage Control got an 18.6582. Predator got an 18.9277. Alright, we're down to our final matchup. Stinger and Daisy Chain. So, Stinger, of course, represents Team Crazy Bull. Daisy Chain is Team Outlaw. So, will Ye Plunder hold on for Team Outlaw to get the win? Will Daisy Chain keep the lead up for Team Outlaw? Or will Stinger get the victory for Team Crazy Bull? The first win night is about to be found out. Stinger and Daisy Chain. Here we go, the final race of qualifying. Up and over the jump. Look at the big air Stinger had. Oh, and a wheelie coming out, which could be a little bit of a problem. Oh my goodness, what a turn that was. Stinger's been so dominant in Orlando the last few years we've been here. Could it do it again? Oh, Daisy Chain is in trouble. What a save that was. And that is going to cost it. As Stinger a little bit off the side right there. Oh, Daisy Chain in trouble right there. Going to get the save. But that is going to kill Daisy Chain's chances of #1 time right now. But hey, Ye Plunder still has it for Team Outlaw. As we wait on the times. As we look for Stinger. Here we go. Stinger got an 18.0879 and Daisy Chain got a 19.1958. It is not going to be enough to take over as Ye Plunder is our #1 qualifier here in the 2025 MTWS All-Star Challenge. And with that, Team Outlaw has won the first part of the All-Star Challenge. It's 1-0 now on the board. If it wins racing coming up, it will have the event fully, the All-Star Challenge fully secured, just like Team Impala did last year. This is actually the first time since Inglewood last year on August 28th that Ye Plunder was the #1 qualifier. Only the second time ever, too. So, great start for Ye Plunder, showing that last year's incredible season racing looks to be not a fluke right now. Is in control. Alright. But now it's time to reveal the bracket. Remember, I think it was 8 trucks starting round 1? Was it? And then the rest of the Furry 2 go straight in to round 2 or whatever. Well, we're going to find out. Here we go. Time for the bracket reveals. Here we go. as it's going to start with Wild Ride. Start up in round 1, going up against Night Stalker. Whoever wins will face Ye Plunderer. Then it'll be Predator going up against Destroyer. Whoever wins will face Blood Rage. Tops in Total Chaos versus Daisy Chain with the winner facing Madness. Damage Control versus Flying Falcon. Whoever wins will face Crazy. Then it'll be High Flying going up against Prowler with the winner facing Bling. Shadowrun versus Polar Storm. The winner going to face Outlaw. War Machine versus Bone Crusher with the winner facing Patriot. And then Topsy Turvy versus Crasher with the winner facing Nitro. Then in round 2 will be Ye Plunder, number 1 qualifier, going up against Wild Ride or Night Stalker. Power Forward versus Crusher. Blood Rage versus either Predator or Destroyer. Mad Dog versus Crazy Bull. That's going to be an insane matchup right there. Then Madness going up against Total Chaos or Daisy Chain. Stinger versus Venom. Crazy going up against Damage Control or Flying Falcon. Then Impala versus Reckless Intent. Then the other side will be Bling going up against either High Flying or Prowler. Thunderbolt versus the Monster Razor. Outlaw going up against either Shadowrun or Polar Storm. Then Shatter versus Eruption. That's going to be a huge race. War Machine or it'll be Patriot then versus War Machine or Bone Crusher. Fireball versus Outrage. Nitro versus Total be Topsy Turvy or Crash, and then going to wrap it up with Crush and Run versus Locomotion. Alright, fans. Qualifying is now in the books for the All-Star Challenge. Team Outlaw has the lead with Ye Plunder getting up 1 time. That's 1-0 on the board for Team Outlaw. All they need to do is just win racing, and it's got secured. But I'm sure Team Crazy Bull will like to have a word about that, as we're about to find out, as it's time now to begin racing. Alright, MTWS fans, it's now time to begin racing, as we're starting off with an interesting one. As, how about this? Wild Ride, kind of representing Thunderbolt's position last year's All-Star Challenge, is going to be in round 1 start with. How about that? As it is going to be facing off against Night Stalker, who, remember, flipped in qualifying. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. And of course, remember, whoever wins will be facing the number 1 qualifier, Ye Plunder, in round 2. That's going to be insane. Big matchup start for round 2 potentially. Alright, it's now time for racing, fans. Here we go. Wild Ride versus Night Stalker. And here we go. I think Night Stalker had a bit of a hole shot right there. Oh boy. Wheelie right there though. What a turn there by Wild Ride. And here we go to the berm. Going wide there for a Wild Ride. As Night Stalker, oh, careful there, Wild Ride, and Night Stalker screwing up, as it's going to be, oh, and trouble for Night Stalker, as Wild Ride's going to get the victory. Oh my goodness, Night Stalker had a chance to pull off an upset, but blew it in the end, as Wild Ride's going to get the victory, where he'll face Ye Plunder in round 2. Alright, here we go, next up, Predator versus Destroyer. Predator, remember, another truck who's flipping qualify. Let's see what's got to go up against Destroyers. Here we go, Destroyer and Predator. Up and over that one. With the wheelie for Predator, showing still in good shape after its flip, hopefully. Going to the turn. Got a tough task against Destroyer to come right here. He into the turn for Destroyer, as Predator is all over the place right there, and it's going to be a Team Destroyer. Oh, careful for Destroyer right there at the end. As Destroyer's going to get the victory and move on to round 2. As, of course, Destroyer is representing Team Crazy Bull. Alright, so now we move on to the next race, as it's Total Chaos versus Daisy Chain. Here we go! Up and over that jump! Oh my goodness, what air for Total Chaos that was! My God! Not a good turn really there for Total Chaos, but not a good turn here for Daisy Chain. Both are struggling. Oh man, Daisy Chain really choking hard right there. Total Chaos struggling a little bit, and it's going to be Daisy Chain with the victory. It's going to go up the side of the hill right there for Daisy Chain. Oh, 2 Wheels going to get the save at the end. Daisy Chain representing Team Outlaw is going to get the victory, as it knocked off a Team Crazy Bull truck, so about a split even between those two. Daisy Chain's going to move on. Next up is Damage Control versus Flying Falcons. Here we go. Up and over that. Big air once again. Wheelie right there, not good. You can't be doing that, Daisy. Damage Control, we just keep talking about that. Don't do those wheelies on landing. Going very wide. What a turn there by Flying Falcon. Oh boy, it's going to be Flying Falcon with the victory though. Flying Falcon, of course, is going to get the win in the end. As it moves on, as of course represented Team... Can't even find it on the list yet still. My goodness. Okay, Team Crazy Bull. Alright, now we're on to the second half of round 1 as it's High Flying going up against Prowler. Here we go. Both trucks struggle in qualifying, remember. Oh, Prowler, you can't be doing those wheelies. I keep you saying that. Don't do those wheelies. As looks like it might be struggling a bit, but here we go. Into that turn, into the burn. Oh, what a turn there by Prowler. In the side of the hill right there. But it's going to be High Flying with the victory, looks like. High Flying. Prowler struggled right there. Got on 2 wheels. And yep, High Flying's going to get the victory where it moves on to round 2. High Flying, of course, representing Crazy Bull. Alright, next up is Shadowrun. Going up against Polar Storm. And here we go. Up and over that jump. What a great turn there for Shadowrun. And goes down a little bit. In the side of that. Oh, Polar Storm's in trouble. Polar Storm's in big trouble. Shadowrun's crossing the lane. Both cross each other's lanes, but Shadowrun's going to get the victory and move on to round 2. As Shadowrun represents Team Outlaw. Alright, now up is going to be... Oh, both Team Outlaw... Polar Storm was Team Outlaw too, so Team Outlaw truck lost the truck at the same time. Wow. Alright, next up is going to be War Machine versus Bone Crusher. Here we go. War Machine and Bone Crusher are going to go out with some big air for both trucks. With a slap wheel there for Bone Crusher. Again, you can't be doing that. Terrible pass right there. Oh boy, Bone Crusher's in trouble. Yep, just in trouble all over the place for Bone Crusher as War Machine is going to get the easy victory. And, ugh, wow, had to back up too. Oh god, just terrible. Oh, okay, saved right there for Bone Crusher. That was close. But War Machine's going to get the victory as it moves on to round 2. As War Machine, of course, representing Team Outlaw. Taking out a Team Crazy Bull truck. Alright, now for our last round 1 matchup. Topsy-Turvy going up against Crasher. Here we go. Up and over that jump with some big air. As Crasher, a little wide right there. Bad land. Oh, bad landing for Crasher. Topsy-Turvy screwed up a little bit too. But Topsy-Turvy's going to get the victory, but not a good pass there for Crasher too. Oh my god, that was ugly. As Topsy-Turvy's going to get the victory and move on to round 2. As Topsy-Turvy representing Team Crazy Bull. Alright, here we go. Time for the round 2 bracket now. As here we go. And it's going to be Reckless Intent going up against Wild Ride. That's going to be a huge matchup. Then Power Forward versus Crusher. Blood Rage versus Destroyer. That'll be a big one. Then the big one, Mad Dog versus Crazy Bull. That's going to be huge. Madness versus Daisy Chain. Stinger versus Venom. Crazy versus Flying Falcon. Impala versus Reckless Intent. Then it'll be Bling versus High Flying. Thunderbolt versus the Monster Razor. Outlaw versus Shadowrun. Shatter versus Eruption. That's going to be a big one. Patriot versus War Machine. Fireball versus Outrage. Nitro versus Topsy-Turvy. And finally wrap it up with Crusher Run going up against Locomotion. And now we get ready for round 2. Here we go. Alright, now we're ready for round 2. As it's a big one. Starts with a big matchup. Yeet Plunder, number 1 qualifier, going up against Wild Ride. A big matchup. As here we go. Let's see how they handle out here. As I think Wild Ride has the whole shot, but oh my goodness, what air by Yeet Plunder. Great turn by Yeet Plunder. As it's facing tough competition, a former racing champion. Here we go into the turn. A little trouble there for Yeet Plunder, but it's going to get the victory. Carefully here, Yeet Plunder, as it's going to get the victory. As, how about that? Wild Ride is already eliminated very early on in the event. As, yeah, down it goes. As that's a loss for Team Crazy Bull. Alright, next up is going to be Power Forward versus Crusher. Here we go. Get over that. Big air. Down now. As going to go into that jump there for power forward. Oh, clip the side of the hill right there. Crusher's in trouble too. Oh my goodness, both are in trouble right there. As Crusher's backing up. That's not good, as it's going to be power forward the easy victory. Oh my goodness, both trucks struggle there. But power forward did struggle a lot less, as power forward is going to get the victory to move on to round 3. As that is going to be a victory for Team Crazy Bull. Alright, next up is Blood Rage versus Destroyers. Here we go. Up and over that jump. With another wheelie for Destroyer. What did I say earlier about those wheelies? As Blood Rage going for that jump. And then Destroyer struggling, as it's going to be an easy victory for Blood Rage. Smack the side of the hill right there for Blood Rage, for Destroyer. As Blood Rage is going to move on to round 3 as it represents Team Outlaw. Alright, now up is the big matchup. Mad Dog versus Crazy Bull. And this is not good for Crazy Bull because they're both teammates. But they're going to have to go up against each other. As, here we go, Mad Dog and Crazy Bull. Classic matchup from like the early 2009-2010 season. As what a turn there by Mad Dog. But Crazy Bull in the lead. Oh, Crazy Mad Dog in trouble right there. Here we go to the final turn, as it is going to be Crazy Bull winning its first race as the defending champion, the 2-time champion. Crazy Bull having to knock off its teammate as it's moving on to round 3. Alright, a big matchup that was. Now up is Madness versus Daisy Chains. Here we go. As up and over that jump. And what a turn there by Madness, although it struggled a little bit right there at the end. Here we go, though. Final turn. And what a turn by Daisy Chain, as Daisy Chain's going to win. Oh, careful of Daisy Chain. Oh, boy, in trouble. Saved it there, though. What a save that was by Daisy Chain. Daisy Chain going to get the victory, as it knocked off its teammate, though, from Team Outlaw, though. So that happened to both trucks, both teams at least. Alright, next up is Stinger versus War Machine. Venom, here we go. Stinger and Venom. Up and over that. Outer team matchup. Let's see what Stinger's got. Oh, what a turn there by Stinger. Here we go. Final turn right there. Stinger going very wide right there. Oh boy, they're going to be in trouble as Venom is going to upset Stinger. Oh my! Stinger has lost here in Orlando after being undefeated the last 2 years. Wow, that was a blown opportunity by Team Crazy Bull right there, even though it lost to a teammate. Stinger thought it was going to be a big pick. Do some success here tonight, and that's why Team Crazy Bull picked it so high. Picked it even over Mad Dog, for crying out loud. But yeah. Already done. Wow. Stinger already eliminated. Alright, next up is Crazy Bull versus Flying Falcon. Here we go. Okay, go up that jump, an outer team matchup with a huge wheelie. Crazy, of course, got that that really high qualifying spot, which is surprising, like 4th place. Who would have thought about that? But going very wide right there, and it is going to be, of course, to no one's surprise, Flying Falcon with the victory for Team Crazy Bull, as Crazy just went very wide. Of course, it was just a fluke, obviously. They got that high time. Alright, here we go now. Impala versus Reckless Intent. Here we go! Another outer conference matchup. Now, here we go. Into that turn. Here we go. As it's going to be Impala with the victory. Although, oh, careful. Reckless Intent going to get a bit of a stop right there. Reckless Intent was right there with Venom, but just couldn't keep the job up at the end. As Impala is going to move on as it took out a Team Outlaw truck. Alright, and with that, we're now halfway through round 2. As next up is Bling versus High Flying. Here we go. Bling, of course, got the number 2 qualifier. Let's see what got there. And oh my goodness, that air. Oh, High Flying in trouble. High Flying's going to go up the berm in deep trouble right there. I told you with those wheelies, as you saw what just happened to High Flying. Terrible landing, terrible pass, and it's going to be all Bling right there. As, not going to lie, High Flying had a really good turn right there on that final turn, but everything else cost it. As Bling is going to move on, representing, of course, Team Outlaw. Easy victory as it took out Crazy Bull's high flying. Alright, next up is Thunderbolt going up against was it the Monster Razor? There we go. Thunderbolt and the Monster Razor. Up and over that jump. Great turn. Oh, starting to lift up a little bit for Thunderbolt. That could be a little bit of a problem. As great right there. The Monster Razor had a really good turn right there, though. But the Monster Razor is going to upset Thunderbolt. Oh my, Thunderbolt one and done already. Thunderbolt made so far last year, but this year it's going to be one and done as it lost to the Monster Razor. A big blow for Team Crazy Bull losing power forward. I mean, not power forward, losing Thunderbolt. Wow, lost Wild Ride, lost Mad Dog, lost Stinger, and now lost Thunderbolt. Big losing right now for Team Crazy Bull. Ugh. Alright, now we move on to the next race as it's going to be Outlaw versus Shadowrun. As they are now getting ready to go. Former freestyle champions, and they're off! Outlaw and Shadowrun. Outlaw, the champion of 2010 and 2012. Shadowrun was the champion 2022. My goodness, how long that's been. And Shadowrun just all over the place. And of course, it's going to be an easy, oh boy, easy victory for Outlaw as Shadowrun almost went over right there. Just a terrible, awful pass. As Outlaw going to get the victory to represent Team Outlaw, of course, moving on to the next round. Alright, now, next up is a huge matchup as it's Shatter going up against Eruption. Oh boy, here we go! Shatter and Eruption going at it. Our conference matchup. Oh, what a wheeler right there for both trucks, even though they're not supposed to do that. Oh, what a turn there by Shatter. Let's see how they handle it. As they are right there. Oh boy, what a race! It's going to be Eruption! Eruption is going to take out Shatter, who has been struggling so far tonight in matchups, getting big opponents and not winning. Big victory for Team Crazy Bull for once, as Shatter goes down and Eruption moves on. And now up is going to be Patriot going up against War Machine. As here we go. Not a good idea to get those wheelies for Patriot. Did not have the best turn right there. But the War Machine's also struggling a little bit. Here we go. To the final jump. As War Machine crosses lanes on two wheels. Patriot's going to get the victory. What a terrible pass there for War Machine. As Patriot moves on, helping Team Crazy Bull. Big victory. Especially when took out a Team Outlaw truck. Alright, now up is Fireball going up against Outrage. Here we go. Fireball and Outrage. Fireball did not have the best turn right there. As here we go to the final turn. What a turn by Outrage! Oh, Fireball's in trouble, and Outrage beats Fireball in an upset. Oh my goodness! Fireball goes down, and a big loss there for Team Outlaw. Losing there, although it was to another Team Outlaw truck, but losing a really good racer to a not good racer, that hurts if it's the same team. Big loss there for Team Outlaw. Alright, now up is Nitro going up against Topsy Turvy as they are getting ready to go. And they are off. Nitro, Topsy Turvy has some huge air. Going now into the turn there. Great turn there by Nitro. Oh boy, really going wide there. Oh, careful there. Nitro's in trouble a little bit. And it's going to be Nitro in the end, although Topsy Turvy was getting really close there to pull off an upset. Alright, Nitro moving on for Team Outlaw. Of course, Topsy Turvy representing Team Crazy Bull, so big victory there. Alright, now for our final matchup of round 2. Crush and Run going up against Locomotion. Here we go. Up and over that jump. Our conference matchup again, as Crush and Run did not have the best turn. Crush and Run going very wide right there, but thankfully for it, Locomotion's struggling even worse, and Crush and Run is going to get the victory. Terrible pass for both of them, but Crush and Run is going to get the victory for Team Outlaw. And with that, our very long round 2 is now over. We're now down to our final 16 trucks as we now take a look at the bracket for round 3. As we got some big matchups. Starting off with Ye Plunder going up against Power Forward. Then Blood Rage going up against Crazy Bull. That's going to be a big one. Madness going up against Venom. And then Flying Falcon going up against Impala. Then it'll be Bling versus the Monster Razor. Outlaw versus Eruption. Patriot versus Outrage. And finally wrap up with the arch rivalry. Nitro going up against Crush and Run. Oh boy, that's going to be big. That's going to be big right there. Alright fans, so let's get ready for round 3. Alright MTWS fans, as we continue on with the round 3 now, with just 16 trucks left. As next up is going to be a big matchup. Ye Plunder going up against Power Forward. And here we go! A huge matchup! As I think Power Forward might have whole shot right there. Here we go into the turn. Great turn there by Ye Plunder. Showing up to the chance against a former racing champion, but we'll see how it happens here. Into the turn. Oh my god! What a turn by Power Forward! Here we go! And it's gonna be Power Forward! Just edging out Ye Plunder. Hard fought fight for Ye Plunder, but it's not gonna be enough as Team Crazy Bull got a big victory, taking out Ye Plunder in the #1 qualifier. Power Forward is in the quarterfinals now. And next up is Blood Rage going up against Crazy Bull. Another huge matchup. #1 qualifier championship multiple times. A the defending racing champion may add 2 times as well. Going up and over that jump for Crazy Bull with some big air. Who's going to move on to the quarterfinals? Great turn there by Blood Rage. But you're going to need to have some insane turns if you're going to go up against a defending racing champion. Crazy Bull in trouble there! Oh boy! That might have helped Crazy Bull actually, as Crazy Bull is going to get the victory in a big blowout, honestly. Crazy Bull is now in the quarterfinals as it's looking sharp despite its screw-up. Alright, now up next is Madness versus Venom. A race between 2 trucks that aren't really that good, but hey, one of them is going to make the quarterfinals surprisingly. Here we go, up that jump. Not a good start there for that wheelie for Venom. As now, going to go, that nosedive for Venom. Madness going very wide right there. Great turn by Venom, and it's going to be Venom with the victory. Venom, surprising everyone, is now in the quarterfinals. How about that? My goodness. All right, next up is Flying Falcon, going up against Impala. Oh boy, here we go. Big race there. Up and over that jump. Impala likes to get that wheelie. High Flying going very wide in that berm. That's not good. That's very bad. Flip the side of the other berm. Flying Falcon struggling big time, and it's gone. As Impala, there we go, just destroyed and dominated. As Impala is now moving on to the quarterfinals. All right, one half done. Off to the second half now. Bling versus the Monster Razor. Here we go. Is up and over that jump with some huge air. And now Bling gonna go up and over that jump with some big air. Clip the side of that. Great turn by the Monster Razor. Spun out though. Bling's gonna get the victory. Monster Razor flipped into the hill right there. Still flipping. Gonna save at the end right there. Clip the side of the hill, but Bling's gonna get the victory to move on to the quarterfinals. Alright now, next up, a big matchup. Outlaw versus Eruption. Here we go. Big outer conference matchup. Or outer team matchup, I mean to say. Outlaw and Eruption. Great turn by Outlaw. The pressure is on the line for these two. As what a turn by Eruption. Oh, Outlaw's in trouble. Oh, it was Eruption who got stopped and did. Oh, and 2-wheel saved it. Eruption edged out Outlaw as Team Outlaw's captain is going down, as Team Outlaw is decimated so far in the quarterfinals. Oh my goodness. Oh boy, we're going to see this and going into the quarterfinals. This is big. And now a Patriot and Outrage. Here we go. Patriot and Outrage got some big ear, and Outrage is really pulling for Team Outlaw right now. Outrage really needs his win for Team Outlaw. But it's going to have a tough chance against Patriot. And not helping with that bad turn right there. Oh, on 2 wheels. And yep, that's going to kill it as Patriot's going to get victory. And Venom, not Venom, Outrage, flipping, still flipping. Oh, what a crush right there. As going to go over. Oh, man, what a wild freak for Outrage. At least he'll have time now to get prepared for either tonight or tomorrow, whatever the freestyle is going to be. But tonight's night is done, and that's another big blow for Team Outlaws. They really need Outrage to win that, though. Patriot is going to move on. And now for our final matchup, the huge arch rivalry matchup. Nitro versus Crush and Run. Former racing champions going at it. Here we go! Nitro, Crush and Run. Let's go! As once again, what a great turn by Nitro. Here we go. The final turn, we're at the side of everything. Oh boy! Oh, in trouble right there! And oh, it's a photo finish! It's a photo finish right there! Oh my goodness, our first photo finish of the night. What a race these two had. Oh my goodness, and both are representing Team Outlaw, so we know one Team Outlaw is going to make the quarterfinals, but they really needed both right here, but one of them is going to go down. Alright, we now take a look at the picture. Here we go. And it's Outlaw, not Outlaw, Nitro, just barely edging out its arch rival Crush and Run. Nitro is going to get the victory. What a race. As Nitro got a 17.8784, Crush and Run got a 17.7922. Wow, so Crush and Run had the faster time. But Nitro edged out in the end. As Nitro moves on to the quarterfinals, as we now take a look at the bracket for racing for the quarterfinals. Here we go. And it's going to be a big one. Power forward going up against Crazy Bull. Then it'll be Venom versus Impala. Bling versus Eruption, finally wrapped up with Patriot versus Nitro. And this is big, because guess what this means? The first half of the bracket is all Team Crazy Bull. So we know there's going to be one Team Crazy Bull truck in the finals. But on the other side of the bracket, all we got is Patriot. Wait. Actually, oh yeah, Bling and Nitro are the only representatives from Team Outlaw. So there's a very good chance we might have a Team Crazy Bull finals unless Bling and Nitro survive. We're going to have a team. We know one Team Crazy Bull truck's going into the finals. There's a 50-50 chance we can have a Team Crazy Bull finals, which would mean we'd be tied up going into freestyle whenever that is for the standings. Man, if Team Outlaw is going to want to win, it's going... Yeah, if Team Outlaw is going to want to win, it's going to need to have both Bling or Nitro show up and do good here coming up. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get to the quarterfinals. Alright, it's now time for the quarterfinals, as we said earlier. On the one side of the bracket, we know there's going to be a Team Crazy Bull truck in the finals. Speaking of which, we're about to see Crazy Bull going up against the 2011 racing champion Power Forward. A former racing champion going up against a two-time racing champion. Alright, here we go. Power Forward, Crazy Bull. Who's moving on to the semifinals? As look at the air Power Forward had. As going to that turn. Over that. Power Forward going very wide. It's going to be a disaster. And that's going to show as it was a disaster, as Crazy Bull is moving on to the semifinals. Crazy Bull marching downfield as it's in the semifinals, its first race as a champion, as it's looked like it's on track to maybe do what it did last year and defend its title. Wow, that's insane. But now we got to get our next matchup, as it's Venom versus Impala. Oh boy, that's going to be a big one. Here we go. Impala versus Venom. Up and over that jump. Venom did not have the best turn. But Impala struggled too. Oh boy. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness, what turn Impala had. And Impala is going to get the victory. Impala moving on to the quarterfinals. Oh boy. I think we all know what that means, people. But next up, Bling versus Eruption. Now this is important. Bling or Nitro need to win to keep Team Outlaw alive. If either of them lose, then Team Crazy Bull will get the victory, and it'll be split up going into tomorrow. So this is vital that Bling and Nitro win this. All right, here we go. Bling versus Eruption. Here we go. Up and over that jump. With the wheelie. Oh, what a turn there by Bling! Oh my goodness, that turn was insane! Oh boy, is Eruption in trouble? Here we go. Oh, in trouble there for Eruption, in trouble indeed right there! Oh boy, even over the foul jump! It's gonna be Bling! Bling gets it! Bling wins in an upset! As it moves on to the semifinals, and we know for a fact there's gonna be a Team Outlaw truck. Oh boy! Let's go! But now we gotta see our final matchup, which is Patriot versus Nitro. If Nitro wins, we're going to be guaranteed a Team Crazy Bull Team Outlaw Finals. So yeah, here we go. A lot on the line. Here we go! Patriot and Nitro. As going to that turn, Patriot had a great turn, but Nitro is a former Racing champion, remember? Anything can go. Going very wide for Patriot. What a turn by Nitro! And it's going to be Nitro! Nitro wins as it continues to dominate. What a race that was! And with that, we are now moving on to the semifinals as it's now set. And oh boy, what a great show we're going to have. We are going to have a Team Outlaw, Team Crazy Bull matchup in the finals. But first things first, our matchup. And how about this? In the second race since the championship, almost beating the record that the runners-up in the All-Star Challenge set last year. Team Crazy Bull and Impala are going to go at it for the first time since they've raced in the championship back in February. Oh man, Impala would like to get revenge against its teammate and then the two-time racing champion. That's going to be huge. But on the other side, we're going to have Bling going up against a former racing champion, Nitro. This feels like last year's All-Star Challenge where we had 3 elite trucks, defending racing champion, one of them, in a rematch almost. The rematch was last year's event. And then you have a random truck who's not that good in racing make it to the finals. Wow. Wow, wow, wow indeed. Alright, it's now time for the semifinals. Alright fans, here we go for a big matchup to start the semifinals. Our first rematch of the championship last year in the semifinals here. Team Crazy Bull, the defending two-time racing champion Crazy Bull, going up against Impala, former freestyle champion and the runner-up twice in the championship in racing. Of course, runner-up to Crazy Bull as we saw. Oh boy, here we go. As the race is underway, Crazy Bull and Impala, the new rivalry in MTWS is being renewed in the All-Star Challenge with the wheelie right here for Impala. Great. Oh, actually not that really good turn for Crazy Bull. This is the first time it's in this lane too, remember. It's been the other lane before. Going very wide. That could be trouble. Great turn by Impala. And Impala's going to win. Impala is going to beat Crazy Bull and dethrone it, at least for tonight. No repeat in the runner All-Star Challenge like Crazy Bull had last year. It's done already. Made it all the way to the semifinals and fell just short. Obviously going to the other lane hurt it. As Impala is now in the finals. But now it's going to have to face whoever represents Team Outlaw now. Either Bling or Nitro. And they are off! Nitro and Bling going at it. Who will face Impala in the finals? And it's going wide right there. Here we go. The final turn. Great turn by Bling, and it's going to be Bling with the victory. Not Bling, Nitro with the victory. I got the name all mixed up. Nitro with the great turn. Nitro with the victory. Moving on to the finals. And how about that? The bracket's now set. Our finals is Impala versus Nitro. Oh boy. Let's get ready for the finals, fans. Alright, MTWS fans, it's now come down to this. It's time for the finals. Who would have thought that this would be the finals with how competitive it would be and all that? But it's come down to this. An elite championship-like finals, kind of like how last year with the All-Star Challenge was Crazy Bull and Wild Ride going at in their 2023 rematch for the championship. We had that again tonight, but this time it was in the semifinals. And it's now time to get ready for the actual finals here for the 2025 All-Star Challenge. But to introduce our competitors. Representing Team Crazy Bull, one of the best qualifiers tonight. The 2024 racing runner-up. It beat Reckless Intent in round 2, then beat Flying Falcon in round 3, then beat Venom in the quarterfinals before beating its new arch rival, the two-time champion and its teammate, team captain, Crazy Bull in the semifinals. Representing Team Crazy Bull, here comes Impala. Meanwhile, representing Team Outlaw, our number 2 fastest qualifier tonight. It was, of course, the 2010 and 2022 racing champion. It beat Topsy Turvy in round 2. It beat its arch rival Crescent Run in a photo finish in round 3. It beat Patriot in the quarterfinals. And then beat Bling in the semifinals to make it here to the finals. To represent Team Outlaw, give it up for Nitro! Alright, fans, it's come down to this. A big matchup between two very powerful trucks. Two champions. One of them, of course, only got titles in freestyle. The other one got split in racing and freestyle. It's come down to this too, because remember, both trucks are in the same opposite teams. So if Nitro wins this, that'll be victory number 2 for Team Outlaw, and it will win the All-Star Challenge with only freestyle the round to try and sweep it. But if Impala wins, then it's set up tied up at 1-1, and then to the next event in freestyle will be decided who will win it. So, will it be like last year? Will Nitro pull off the victory and give Team Outlaw the victory of the All-Star Challenge with freestyle to wrap it up, like how it was last year with Team Impala? Or will Team Impala, or not Team Impala, Impala representing Team Crazy Bull, continue that momentum from last year, come out here, get revenge, win racing, tie it up, and then we'll have freestyle tomorrow to be the tiebreaker. Oh boy, here we go. It's time to find out who will win racing in the All-Star Challenge. Impala versus Nitro. They are off. Here we go. Up and over that jump. Big air right there for Impala. Great turn, although a little struggle right there at the end. Here we go for Hill. A little up the side for Nitro. As what a turn by Nitro! Here we go! It's Nitro! Nitro is your racing winner here in the All-Star Challenge. Nitro is the 2025 MTWS All-Star Challenge racing winner. How about that? It won racing here in the All-Star Challenge. And with that, of course, means that Team Outlaw is 2-0. That means Team Outlaw has won the 2025 MTWS All-Star Challenge already. Just like how Impala won it last year. Wow. That is insane. It happened again. Team Outlaw is your All-Star Challenge winner. And then tomorrow, or whenever freestyle is going to be, decide will it sweep or will it split it? Wow. How about that? We got another, we're on the verge of another sweep in the All-Star Challenge. I thought this was going to be a year that we were going to have it split in racing. We almost had it again, but it wasn't enough. As Nitro is your racing winner here tonight in the All-Star Challenge here in Orlando. As it is on track to try and double down, as it is celebrating with a huge cyclone right there, as it is still going off with this win. Oh man, great victory there. Uh-oh, watch out though for Nitro coming up. He's gonna go up the hill sideways. As coming down right there. Man, dominated. And by the way, Nitro's time was 16.96 something. That is the only time tonight that a truck got under 17 seconds. That turn at the end was the sign factor for Nitro being your racing winner. So, give it up for your racing winner here in the 2025 MTWS All-Star Challenge, Nitro! Alright, MTWS fans. With that, Team Outlaw has gotten the victory. So now, next up is freestyle, where we're going to determine, will Nitro go for a double down? And will Team Outlaw get the victory and get this full sweep like Team Impala did last year? Or will Team Crazy Bull decide to take some pound of flesh with it and get the freestyle win to at least get something out of it? We're going to find out next, either tomorrow or right afterwards. So here we go, MTWS fans. See you all next time for freestyle.